Welcome back, YouTube. It is good to be back after a bit of a break, a little bit of family get-togethers and all that stuff, but nevertheless, we are at Season 2, we are at the Chinese Grand Prix, and we're going to dive right into this video. Let's get into it.
Welcome to Shanghai, China, for what I've no doubt is going to be a fantastic F1 qualifying session.
And the worst thing possible for me so far this season is it's raining. I'm not that great in the rain. I'm still trying to grasp the grip levels and the setup in between the wet and the dry. As soon as it starts raining, I just lose all sorts of pace. As you guys can see, we're setting our Q1 lap time. See if we can get ourselves into Q2. We actually go green, but I think it's just a little bit too much for us to get out of it. Fortunately for Q1, we finish up P17. So there you guys have it. Our teammate actually goes P6 in Q1. I don't think that's where he starts the initial Grand Prix. I think I have to look into that. But he does look quick, so that just begs to differ of the fact that we are terrible in the rain. But not that that's a secret anymore. I mean, just look at the times. But on to the race.
It's time to find out which driver is up to the task of claiming the Chinese Grand Prix. We're here in Shanghai. We start a lap here at Shanghai with the long, difficult right-handers of turns 1 and 2, the first of 16 corners that make up this 3.3-mile circuit. The incredibly long back straight provides the best passing opportunity of the lap, with speeds in excess of 200 miles per hour before the braking zone of turn 14. Alongside me to discuss all the action today is Anthony Davidson. Thanks for joining us, Ant, and tell me, you were down in the pit lane earlier. How do you think the track conditions are today?
Well, the surface looks clean enough, but I'm a little bit worried about the track temperature. It's pretty cool out there, which could give some teams difficulties when it comes to keeping their tyres in the right operating window. The cars out there that work their tyres hard and really put a lot of energy through them, they'll be the ones that are better off.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position with Charles Leclerc alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Bottas, Gasly, Max Verstappen and Hamilton, Weber, Hülkenberg, Magnussen and Alexander Albon, Stroll, Ricciardo, Devon Butler and Raikkonen, Russell, Perez, Carlos Sainz and Lando Norris, Grosjean and Rose. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Okay, a podium result could be difficult to achieve this race, so let's focus on getting a high points finish.
So, with being P17, I decided to think more into the future of the season, and I grabbed a couple engine components, which ultimately cost me penalties, so I'm back to P20. Blast, all to play for here. We're going to keep our head down here, so I'm just messing with my strategy. Going to start on the hards and go to the mediums. But here we are, waiting for these 5 red lights at the Chinese Grand Prix, ready to kick this one into gear. Start from P20, let's see if we can keep our head down. Terrible getaway for me, as I cannot get the traction on these hard set of compounds. But here we are, following in on that first long right-hand turn. This is actually a very tricky turn. Right behind Grosjean, there's Norris, Sands, the 2 McLaren teammates. Perez is not too far in the distance. I'm just kind of buying my time, waiting to see what happens here. I want to make sure that the AI, and I get a little out of shape there. But I wanted to make sure that the AI reacted, that it knew I was coming in. I dived for a big dive in through Perez. Sands looks like a Racing Points there, looking a little bit punchy. I think that might have been Ricciardo that was looking for the inside look too. Maybe wanted to follow me. I have Russell in the Williams, and this car is going super slow, but he is on the medium, so he's going to be a little quicker than me come about a lap or two, so I'm going to have to buy my time with him. Raikkonen, our teammate, just in the distance there. Nevertheless, the Racing Point that made the move earlier was not Ricciardo.
Okay, that's a good start. Keep it up.
We'll do our best, Jeff, but Russell is going a little slow. I thought about maybe pulling it to the inside and putting the car in front of his, but ultimately it is a long race. Only 1 lap so far out of 28 laps to go, so I wanted to take care of myself, take care of the car. It is a long season too. I don't want to damage these components too much. But here we are, slipstream on Russell. We're going to go for the outside look. Sailed right past him, so that was easy, and that was cake, so that's over. Now we're behind our teammate, who has ultimately the same car as me. And guys, I can tell you, this was a struggle to try to get around Raikkonen. I believe he's on a set of mediums and I'm on the hard, so I was ultimately going to get past him once he has to dive for the pits. But trying to keep up with him and maybe trying to go for a look took me several laps, as you guys will see later in the video. But yeah, just trying to keep up with this, these front pack. We have Stroll in the newly dubbed Ferrari instead of a Racing Point ahead of us, so that's kind of interesting. How he's down to I think it's P11 at this point. So I was wonder if his racing skill was coming out, since he's in a quicker car, but he's down to P11. But here we have Raikkonen, lap 2, right in front of us, and this is just going to show you guys how equal these cars are. I do pull the slipstream on him, but once we break the slipstream, it's just side by side. I can't get around him, so he's going to hug it on the inside. Really cut that curve a little bit, I noticed, so we're going to tuck right back behind him and keep on following him, see if he can pull us up closer to the cars riding in front, and it might be a bit of a challenge.
Yellow flag.
Alright, what's kicking off now?
Caution, caution. The virtual safety car is out. Reduce speed and maintain a positive delta.
So, virtual safety car is out, Magnussen is out of the race, and I almost spin the tires super bad. But yeah, here you guys see Magnussen just slowing up. I think he might have had some gearbox failure or something on that lines, but he is going to be out of this Grand Prix, and it gets really interesting in a lap.
Virtual safety car is ending. Maintain your pace until the green flag. VSC ending. Wait for green.
So I was trying to wait for green and trying to catch my teammate off, kind of like napping.
Okay, the incident has been cleared. Let's get back up to racing speed.
But as you guys can see, that didn't happen, and he got away pretty fairly, and I do have the DRS, so I'm going to try to pull up to the back of him. Ultimately, too far back. It's not going to happen from that distance. I'm not Daniel Fiat. I'm not going to run into Raikkonen and blame it on him like he turned into me. Hashtag spoilers for anybody who did not watch the Singapore Grand Prix. But here we are, coming up to lap 4. We do have DRS on our teammate Kimi. See if we can pull in any closer to him. It doesn't look like it, as I could say. It's, equal cars, so it's pretty much the same. But here, guys, it gets really interesting. You remember how Magnussen was out of the race on lap 3? And now his teammate is out on lap 4 with a blown motor. Sebastian Vettel, both the Haas drivers. I don't know if this is a Sebastian in this game just ruins cars, because he had a terrible season last season in that Ferrari that just went past. But here we are. Sebastian Vettel has a DNF just like his teammates, so both Haas cars are out. And I mean, that's interesting. I can't say how that happened, especially on lap 4. We're coming back. It's lap 5 now. We're back to racing. I'm gonna have DRS on our teammate. Gaining a little bit more. It is nice to see another AI's cars have the nice sparks. Here we are. He's gonna leave us the inside room. We give him a bit of a tap, but luckily enough, it was nothing that we caused wing damage. So we sit there and we're banging on each other's side pods, so we're looking pretty racy with our team. He actually backs out, so that is us up to P12. It was about lap 6. Here are lap 8. We actually do catch up to Stroll, Lance Stroll. A couple of the other guys, the drivers, have pitted, so we do go purple, so these tires are hanging on in there. Lance is going to give us a squeeze, so we're going to give him a squeeze on the outside here just to try to hold on to it, and he actually backs off, so that's us up to P7. So these tires are starting to come back to life. Well, not come back to life, what am I saying? They're starting to come to life, and we're actually able to gain a little bit more and more on these guys that are racing ahead of us. We actually do go P1 because of everybody pitting, so now it's our turn to pit. As you guys can look, those skies are starting to get quite gray, and that might spell one thing that everybody absolutely knows I hate, and it's the rain. So before that, we're going to dive for the pits and get a set of mediums on this car. That way we are the quickest car, we have the quickest stint towards the end. Try to get as many positions as possible on our way out of the pits. You see some of the leaders go past right there. There goes P2, I believe. I think we rejoin in like P4. There goes Gasly. I think that was Bottas or that was Hamilton. We do have Leclerc right there, so we are kind of sandwiched in between the front runners, so that's good that our tire strategy really paid off. I was trying to take care of them, but also push at the same time. But a good spot to be in, seeing that we started P20. This might work out into our favor. I was maybe guessing, because we had to hit the brakes hard there because the Red Bull driver, Verstappen, really slammed on the brakes. But I was saying I really had to just hope that we could get into P8 was my goal. I knew I could get somewhere around P12, P10, but I was really pushing for P8. As we go side by side with Verstappen, we're going to hang on to it. It looks like he's not going to have the traction off the corner like we are. That is us up to P3, so we're into a podium spot for this Grand Prix. And we're going to push to see if we can catch Hamilton. He is kind of going to be our rival in this championship, as you guys will see later on in the videos. I have been recording videos while I was on a break, but I was doing videos. And this season is going to get super interesting, I promise you. So you guys are on board for quite a show. I'm sure you guys have had some in your own career. But we're going to have DRS, but we're not going to need it. We're going to go right past Hamilton like he was in a Williams. So I don't know if he had his...
Good job. Nice overtake.
I don't know if he had his engine turned down or if it was just the ultimate sheer power of this Alpha engine that we've upgraded through Season 1 and a little bit in this Season 2. But we've caught up to Gasly. P1, we are lap 20 out of 28. We only have a couple laps to make this happen. He is on the hard compound, so we're going to have a lot more grip.
Okay, you're catching the car ahead, but remember we need to get to the end of the race on these tyres.
DRS is open. He's going to offer us the outside. We're clearly going to take it, and that might be us up into the lead of this Grand Prix. If we can hold this corner, it's a bit of a tricky corner. I have been getting better at my braking, as you guys will notice throughout the videos. I've been getting a little bit more confidence in throwing the car in the corner and hoping that it will stick, but just wishing that it would stick. But there we are, P1. We're going to have Gasly come back at us, though. Going to do our best to make this car as wide as possible and try to hold him behind us. This is the problem, or this part of the track, this long right-hand turn is where I have the most trouble, I think it is. Just finding the right pace and not slamming on the brakes and finding the right time to apply the brakes towards throttle. But here we are, lap 28. The rain has hit. It has been raining now for 2 laps, and these tires are a little bit better than the hard compound. The AI, as you guys can see, they're kind of falling behind. So it actually played out to my favor that it rained a little bit towards the end. It wasn't right away intermediates, but it was borderline. I think if we raced another 2 or 3 laps, we would have had to come in for intermediates. Here we are, last couple corners of this Grand Prix, taking my time, going as slow as possible. As you can see, Gasly and Hamilton really fighting it out behind me for P2, and who's going to stand on that step on the podium. But here we are, checkered flag, going to do a bit of a cheeky weave, and that is us winning from P20.
Superb driving. That's the race win.
So after this, I definitely bumped up the AI difficulty, I can tell you.
A victory for Alfa Romeo. The team will certainly be celebrating tonight. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, Crofty, this was won through an abundance of speed and an abundance of skillful overtakes. Inside, outside, cutting underneath, we saw it all today. And it's really nice to see a Grand Prix won in that manner. A race, surely, that will satisfy the purists today, I think.
So here they come now, out onto the podium. It's thrilling to see this team go toe-to-toe with the best teams in the sport and come out on top. What a superb victory from the Alfa Romeo team. Let's see how the drivers' standings have changed. Rose takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship. Some amazing talent out on the track today, but Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
I have to give it to Rose. They demonstrated a very delicate touch in close proximity to other cars, as well as showing a lot of maturity and patience in difficult situations.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. It was a tough race for our championship leaders who lose ground at the top of the table. Meanwhile, Toro Rosso's strong weekend allows them to continue their march up the table. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
What a race. A little unbelievable if it was given real life, so we definitely dove in and bumped the AI level up, but on to the interview.
Great work out there today. Let's have your thoughts. You've had experience with Devon's fast, aggressive style. Any advice for the drivers he passed today?
Please stop asking me questions about Devon Butler, please.
You gained a lot of positions during the race, didn't you?
It was great. The car was really sticking to the track today.
You're leading the championship. Are you happy to be there or feeling the pressure?
There's no time to get complacent. Each race and each track is unique in its own challenge, so we're just going to keep our head down and push as much or as best as we can.
Things are looking up after last week, aren't they?
They are. I think a lot of the work we've done to develop the power unit has really helped this race, and hopefully it helps for the season.
Appreciate your time.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, please hit that subscribe button. It helps me so much. I appreciate all the time you guys put into just viewing this. Until the next video, I'm going to send you off with the highlights.